Hey, what's up guys? This is going to be a little bit of a longer video, definitely much longer than the videos I've been producing because I wanted to really take my time and go into detail about some of the theory crafting behind why my rotation works. So as I go, I'll be stopping to kind of talk about why each step of the rotation is important. I'm not going to be covering everything. Obviously, it's uncut footage, so I'm going to miss some stuff here and there. But I thought that it was kind of important that I actually slow it down, take my time to elaborate why things work for maybe some of the players who aren't as familiar with the way Guardian Fighter works these days. So yeah, and at the end I've added a quick ELOL run. I just woke up, read somebody's comment. They were like, why don't you talk about your rotation more? Why don't you upload some footage of you doing solo play or some group play? So I was like, all right, I'll do a quick ELOL. So I just rolled out of bed and did one, and I'm just gonna upload that footage at the end of the video. All right, cool. Yeah, also, some of you might be looking at the time on the ELOL video and see that I rolled out of bed at 1:30 p.m. Don't judge me. This is how I live. Alright, enjoy the video. Feel free to skip ahead. Start a dialogue with me in the comments if you want. Talk to you soon. Hey, what's up guys? Some of you had been asking me for my powers and rotation. I did put it in the comments of one of my videos previously, but I'm just going to go over it real quick. This is just going to be some uncut footage because I feel a little too lazy to edit right now. But I think I said in my comments, my normal rotation is I mark and I use my Lyra's Bell. That's down here. This thing makes your companion immune for 12 seconds. And that's going to be really useful because when you have somebody that shares power in the party, using AA, Blessing of Battle, Aura Gifts, Weapons of Light, whatever, you want to make sure that your companion is alive to proc that power snapshot. How that works is whatever power is being shared to your companion, when your bonding runestone buff goes active, it's going to take a snapshot of your companion's stats and transfer them to you for 30 seconds. Also, another reason that it's good to have your companion alive for the first 12 seconds of combat is you want to make sure that if you have a debuff companion that it actually gets the chance to put that debuff on the target. So I will just go ahead and show you what that looks like. The full rotation, it's going to be Mark, Lyra's Bell, then I use Villain's Menace, and the reason I use Villain's Menace early in the rotation is because it procs your Survivor's Wraps to use your daily. The Survivor's Wraps make you take damage after you use your daily, and in some situations you don't need to use that, like during the Orcus fight in Tomb of the Nine Gods, when you have the Bloody Death buff, you're already taking damage anyhow. Oh yeah, I just made sure that hit points boon is on because if the OP is running aura gifts,
Aura of Courage,
you want to have as much hit points as possible. Let me show you my stats. They're not so great. Right now I'm running recovery instead of a little extra armor pen. I'll switch to armor pen when I'm doing Castle Ravenloft. You'll see here. My defenses ignored are only 88%, but if I'm doing Ravenloft, I'll lose the recovery for... I'm cheap, but all I need is a 2k armor pen. I don't need anything else. If I had a T-Rex, I would probably use 2k armor pen, 2k power. But that's just to get my stats up to where I need them personally. Maybe you have more armor pen than me, maybe you have less, but that gets me to 100%. So yeah, I don't need anything more than that right now. Thankfully I have it. So. Alright, and my critical chance is even a little high, so I guess you could argue that I could really swap out some crit for some additional armor pen, and then I wouldn't need to use the mount power, and I can maybe keep my recovery. But you'll see a lot of Guardian fighters these days are leaning away from certain stats and stacking more recovery. Although I do run Artificer's Persuasion to significantly increase my recovery after using a daily. That helps a lot, especially in parties where there's higher power share. I'm going on for too long. I feel like nobody wants to hear me talk about this, but higher recovery means maybe you can get another charge out of Griffin's Wrath before Knight's Challenge runs off. Okay, again, I keep interrupting myself by getting sidetracked by all these different things. But, alright, let me see if I can actually make it, because last time I only made it to Villain's Menace before I had to... Okay, so mark the target, then use your Lyra's Bell to keep your companion alive, then use Villain's Menace, because we know that's going to proc... that's going to proc your Capstone, because when you're taking damage from Survivor's Wraps, you get your Capstone to proc, and that provides an additional 10%. It's called Reckless Attacker. It provides an additional 10% critical chance and an additional 25% damage, which is a lot. Okay, and then after that, I use my Soul Sight Crystal. Soul Sight Crystal is, like I mentioned earlier, tied to Artificer's Persuasion, which increases your recovery temporarily for 15 seconds. Based on your power. And then, okay, and then after that, what I use is Tensor's Transformation. You don't have to use Tensor's Transformation. I think maybe Tensor's is good for solo situations, but right now the Swarm mount is probably the best one that you can get. Yeah, pretty sure the Swarm mount is the best you can get at the moment, because it makes you do 5% more damage. It makes the target take 5% more damage. It counts as a control power, so it's going to proc Crushing Pin for you. Shoot, what was I doing? Alright, I'm just going to put on my recovery, so I don't really need that armor pen in anything other than Castle Ravenloft. Alright, so where were we? I swear I'll get all the way through this at some point. I don't know why I keep stopping. I just woke up, so yeah, my brain isn't exactly on right now. Alright, Mark and Lyra's Bell to keep your companion alive. Villain's Menace. Soul Sight Crystal. Then you use your mount power, Tensor's Disc, Swarm, T-Rex, whatever it is that you have. Okay. And then you use Knight's Challenge to lock your target into combat with you and make sure you do double damage. Then you use Knight's Fray. Then you use Into the Fray. Knight's Challenge, then Into the Fray. The reason you use Into the Fray so late in the combo is that you want to have temporary hit points when you start to use Griffin's Wrath. Because you're taking damage from Survivor's Wraps, that's another reason it's important to use this last, because it will take, the Survivor's Wraps will take your temp HP, and temp HP, as we know, provides a damage boost from this right here, Wrathful Warrior. When you have temp HP, you deal 15% more damage. So we're stacking our self buffs. Last is Griffin's Wrath. Griffin's Wrath is empowered by Staggering Challenge. Gain 20% damage bonus to Griffin's Wrath when the target has recently been struck by Staggering Empowered Griffin's Wrath. Additionally, your Knight's Challenge is increased by 10%, so we're getting more damage from Knight's Challenge. We're getting additional damage out of our Griffin's Wrath. Yeah. Oh, another thing to mention is that the next thing in the rotation is Weapon Master Strike. Right before I start to use Griffin's Wrath, I'm going to make sure I hit it once with Weapon Master Strike. That's a 10% debuff. It says it reduces your mitigation to your encounter powers. Mitigation is how much is an enemy's resistance. So it reduces your enemy's resistance to your encounter powers by 10%. Essentially, debuffing by 10%. There are diminished returns on debuffs, but it's a nice thing to have, especially now that there's only a soft cap on debuffs. There isn't a hard cap anymore, so you'll really see a difference from that. Even though it might not equal exactly 10% more damage, it will still be a lot of additional damage. And putting Weapon Master Strike on it at the peak of your rotation is a good way to get as much damage out of Jagged Blades as possible. Jagged Blades is a damage over time bleed. Okay, I'm going on into way too much detail. But okay, so at this point, we're at the peak of our rotation. We used Knight's Challenge into the fray, and then we used Weapon Master Strike to debuff that 10% that I just went over. Okay, and now we're ready to hit Griffin's Wrath 3 times. We're going to hit Griffin's Wrath 3 times in a row. It's going to go pong, pong, pong. That was really cringy. And then we're still going to have time left on our rotation. So what we do is we finish with Crushing Surge. Crushing Surge has huge potential. It does a lot of damage. It's our hardest hitting at will, without a doubt. In some situations, I've seen it do up to like almost, I want to say 20 million per hit. Alright, here we go. After all this talking, hopefully I don't screw it up. I'm kind of tired still, but here we go. I'm going to mark, I'm going to hit my bell, I'm going to use Villain's Menace, I'm going to use Soulsight Crystal, Tensor's Disc, Knight's Challenge into the fray, debuff, then bing, bing, bing. Yeah, and you can see those numbers stacking up. Yeah. And I don't know if you noticed, but I got a charge of Griffin's Wrath back right at the end. I think it might have been before Knight's Challenge wore off, but yeah, there you go. Sometimes if you have a and also by the end of round rotation, I usually get my daily back as well. Part of that is because I use the Greater Corrupt Black Ice enchantments. Other people will use like Demon Slayer enchantments if they want to, but the Greater Corrupt ones give you a little bit more AP. Action points back. What's some other stuff to talk about? If you have another Guardian Fighter in your party, they'll be using Into the Fray for you, which is nice. So you can do Knee Breaker. In that case, the rotation is going to look a little bit different. It's pretty much the same, except without Into the Fray. You use Knight's Challenge, Knee Breaker, Griffin's Wrath 3 times, and then hopefully before the rotation is up, you can get another Knee Breaker. So you can, and sometimes even then another Griffin's Wrath, like if your recovery is high enough, or if the recovery you get by using Artificer's Persuasion boosts your recovery artificially. Because if you're getting a lot of power share, and then a percentage of your power equals recovery with Artificer's Persuasion. So a lot of the times you'll get a knee breaker at the beginning. The knee breaker will proc Crushing Pin, so that the target takes 10% additional damage, and that way even your first strike of Griffin's Wrath hits for a little extra damage, which is nice. So I'll just go run through that one real quick. I got my bell up again, so I'm just gonna mark and use my bell. Then Villain's Menace, then Soul Sight, then Tensors, then boom. Yeah, since I don't have anybody reducing my cooldowns, I wasn't able to do another knee breaker and Griffin's Wrath, but that's how I would have ended the combo. It's pretty normal to have that available to you. You can definitely get another knee breaker and Griffin's Wrath in at the end of your rotation in a full party. Solo I can't yet, I just don't have the recovery. One day, that's something to aim for. The build is never done. It's never finished here in Neverwinter, that's for sure. Even at endgame, even when you have all your stats, there's always ways to tweak and make yourself better. Alright, I hope that was helpful. I know it's kind of a rush job. And it was very long-winded, but yeah, there you go. Alright, have a good day. Feel free to start a conversation with me in the comments section. I always do my best to get back to people. You know, I'm a small channel. I have time. Like, you don't need to just smash the thumbs down button if you don't like something and move on. Like, let me know what I'm missing, or let me know what you didn't like, or let me know if your opinion's different from mine. It's much more helpful to me as a player to learn and grow from people who have constructive criticism to provide. And sorry if you're getting sick of the memes, I won't put any in this one. Just information. Alright, see you around. Bye. Okay, so this is just not gonna have much of me talking here. I just figured I'd do a quick run. I've seen people doing it recently and they're like, oh, they did a really fast ELAW run or whatever, which is cool, but it's not a speed run. I just want to make that clear, it's not a speed run. I really did just get up and do this in one take. I got lucky, but you'll also see, you'll be able to laugh at me in some parts. I procced my Soul Forge at some point, so I definitely would have ate it. Like, I wasn't playing carefully, I wasn't really thinking, I was pretty tired. So you can definitely, like, point out, like, aha, you done goofed. Like, I pulled one group too many at the beginning. One group extra that I didn't really need to. I used my AP when I shouldn't have, and okay, I got stunned, even though, like, I obviously could have just either thrown my shield up or taken the step back. It's not like I haven't done this 1,000 times. I knew it was coming. Yeah, I got myself pretty much one shot at some point, but I didn't have to use any scrolls, so that's good. But you'll see me swap back and forth. Like, during the beginning, I used more of an AoE setup, which is basically Villain's Menace, Into the Fray, Enforced Threat, Lunging Strike, that kind of thing. See, like there, I just used my AP and I didn't need to, and then I go over here and fight these guys and pull an extra group. Oops. I could have done it better, could have done it faster, but I wasn't really going for a speed run. I just wanted to have some fun and show off what I can do. I don't have very high damage resistance at all. I kind of just lean on lifesteal here. I do that in most situations too, especially like running in full parties. I don't really need the damage resistance on my own. Villain's Menace adds a little damage resistance. Tensor's Disc adds some damage resistance. Using your daily to proc Shepherd's Devotion adds a crap ton of deflect and defense based on your power. So in a full party, just by using dailies alone, I'm getting super jacked damage resistance and deflect. Yeah, I don't really know what else to say. I guess, see there, I almost ate it. Yeah, I don't really know what else to say. Just watch if you want to see how I do it. You'll definitely watch me die and be close to death and ride the struggle bus all the way to the finish. But I do manage to one phase Lost Mouth solo, which I blame completely on luck. Nothing to do with me personally. I forgot to use my bell and everything. But yeah, skip forward if you just want to watch me one phase Lost Mouth solo. That was fun. That was exciting. That was pretty much the reason I decided to upload this video at all, was because I was like, oh, well, I got it. I didn't think I was going to get it, so I guess it's time to stop being lazy and upload a video. Because I definitely, if it took me more than one try, I probably wouldn't have. Oh my god, I'm struggling so hard. It's painful to watch myself play this. I feel like I'm doing a react channel to my own playstyle because I'm watching this video while I play it. It's so painful to watch myself do this. But no. I'll stop. I'll let you keep watching. Sorry for talking over this. Alright, enjoy.
So, We are agreed then, my Lord Lostmouth.